Hi everyone, it's Marie here from Nicole Designs. I'm doing another Hedgehog Hollow video. They have sent me their subscription box for February, which is full of all kinds of beautiful florals, and I'm going to make another card today. Now, I've done another video where I show the unboxing. I'm doing that again, and I'm just, unboxing this, showing you what's inside. So you get a little piece of candy here, you get your list of what is included in the box, and the first stamp set I'm pulling out here is actually designed and hand lettered by my friend Jess Francisco. She YouTubes over at A Card Day's Work, so check her out. She's amazing. That's her first stamp set, and I'm so excited for her. Congrats, Jess. Now, this next stamp set is this floral frame and this inside floral image. You've also got this heart floral image, which I've done another video with, and all of these have sort of a vintage theme, so I'm kind of going with that vintage theme today. I've got this little stamp set here, which I'm going to be using to make a super simple card today, lots of vintage coloring. You've also got this stencil here. Now, this stencil is a really fun sort of a starburst kind of design with these leaf shapes. You've also got those little leaves that are included, so you can do some fun masking and stenciling, ink blending with that. You get a number of envelopes here. So if you create your cards and you're ready to mail them out, you can just slip them into the envelope. You're ready to go. You don't have to go pick up any more envelopes at the store. You've got, I think, 3 or is it 4 layering pieces here, different colors that will go with the box theme. And then you have a handful of these white cardstock. Now, like I mentioned in my other video, I'm not sure what brand these are, but it's a good heavy-duty cardstock. It feels nice and smooth, so I'm sure it's a great brand to be crafting with, and that's what's in the Hedgehog Hollow box. Now, like I mentioned, I'm going to be using this small stamp set to create just a really simple vintagey type card. So I've got my mini MISTI here. I didn't even pull out my bigger one because I'm just going to stamp this on my card front. And the stamp itself is small enough. I don't need any extra space on the outsides, and I can put a card front right on my MISTI here. I'm just peeling that clear stamp right off of that backer sheet. I'm going to arrange it on top of my card stock where I want it to go, and then I'll pick that up with my door and stamp. So for my stamp here, I'm using my Nuvo hybrid ink. I'm using my brown. I've been using this brown hybrid ink a lot lately. I think when you're doing some vintagey type coloring, maybe even some no-line type coloring, this brown is a little bit more subtle than a black would be, and I think it just really kind of adds with that vintage feel that these flowers have. And I love the dark brown on the cardstock. I feel like even if you just went ahead and stamped a pattern and didn't even color at all, it would look really beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this a few times. I think I stamped it 2 or 3 times to get a really nice dark impression, and that's one reason I love my MISTI, is I can load my stamps in there, stamp it a few times, and get a really nice stamp. If you miss a spot when you're stamping, there's no worries with the MISTI. You can just ink it up again and go ahead and stamp again. Now, like I mentioned, I'm going to be coloring these in more of a vintage style. So I'm actually using my Copics on Kraft, and you can do this. You have to keep in mind that since you're coloring on Kraft, the colors are not going to look exactly the same as if you color on white. They're not going to be as bright and as vibrant. So you're going to get sort of a muted color, and I'm using pinks and browns, which combined with that muted Kraft cardstock is really going to give you a vintage type look. So this is a really fun technique that you can use if you're going for that vintage look. If you want really bright colors, I'd say go ahead and stamp it on a white cardstock, but this gives it almost like that antique kind of vintage look, kind of vintage photograph kind of thing. So I thought it was really fun. I'm just using different shades of light pink and browns. Actually, the Copics that I'm using, I got in one of the Copic sets that is the skin tones. So it's a range of really light pinks to some darker browns. And I'm just adding some darker browns on here and adding some shadows where it would be darkest. And then I'm blending it back out with my lighter colors. With pretty much all of the different coloring I do, Copics, zigs, colored pencils, whatever I'm doing, I like to put down my lightest color first and then add my mid-tone color if I'm using a mid-tone. And then I like to put my darkest color where it would be darkest. And then I go back to my lightest color and blend that out, because your lighter colors actually have more alcohol content in it when we're talking about alcohol markers, and the alcohol is really what gets your colors moving and blending. So if you use your lightest color to help blend out those darker colors, you're going to get a better blend than if you're trying to blend, say, two dark colors together. It doesn't work quite as well. So I like to put my layer of light color down first, so I've got a good layer of light down there, put my darker colors on, and then come back with my lightest color and blend it all out. Also, when you're coloring, it's always a good idea to start with your lightest color, because it's easier to put color on. It's not as easy to take color off. So start light and build up your layers as you go. What I'm doing here is I'm taking a white gel pen and I'm just adding details with this white gel pen. I love that vintagey look, but I thought it needed something to help it pop. So there's some really tiny flowers in this image, and I'm going back with this white and I'm just coloring those tiny flowers in. I'm also adding a little bit of detail to the centers of the flowers and to some of those leaves here. And you can see once I get some of that white on there, it really makes it pop, makes it stand out. And gives this image a little bit more dimension than if I would have just left it brown. Now you can definitely leave it just colored. You don't need a gel pen, but I really love that pop against that Kraft cardstock. Now I'm making two cards here today. I'm making a set of them, and you can see that girlfriend card I used with that frame, that floral frame. Colored it exactly the same way that I did this one. It was just more coloring. This one's simple, and I thought I'd just shoot a quick little video doing this one. But you can do this with any of the florals that are in the subscription box. Now I've gone ahead, I've cut this out in a little rectangle. I'm going to layer it on top of a card front or a card base. Before I do that, I'm just grabbing a little sentiment that says thinking of you. This is from one of the other stamp sets in the box, not the little stamp set that the flowers came from, but you can definitely mix it up and do any kind of sentiment you wanted. I like more general type cards like the thinking of you and just hello type cards, because you can send those for no reason at all. You can send it off to a friend and just bring a smile on their face. Don't have to wait till a birthday or anything else to send a card. So like I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card base. I'm just using a plain white card base. I think it really kind of coordinates with those white spots that I added with my gel pen. And that's going to finish the card. You could also go ahead and add some sequins or Nuvo drops or anything, but I really liked the simplicity of this card. So I hope this gives you a great look at the Hedgehog Hollow subscription box, gives you some ideas for some simple vintage coloring. Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe, like, comment, share, do all the things. I will catch you guys next time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.